Do you have a recurring dream?
I have this. It's the same person in the dream. Though it may be a different dream, but it's centered around this one person, and it is spooky. So I should say that.
Well, okay, who's the person and what's going on in the dream?
So it started when I was a young person, probably a teenager, and it was right after I watched the Blair Witch Project. And if you've ever seen that movie, horror movie, obviously, there's an end scene where the main character goes down into like a vacant house in the middle of the woods, and another one of the main characters is standing against the wall, obviously possessed, just staring off into oblivion, dead, right? So I remember this. This is actually kind of giving me chills right now. So I don't remember if it was that night, whatever, but I had a dream that I was running through the woods, went into a house, and there was like a woman cloaked, and I couldn't see her face. But every time I would like shut my eyes, open my eyes, she would get closer, but I couldn't see her face.
Yeah?
Long story short, I've had that dream, and this person in my dream for 25 years now. Like sometimes, and I don't dream, by the way, that I remember. I'm sure I dream, but I don't remember it. But I'll have a dream, like say I'm at a basketball game, and she'll be across the arena, just sitting there, but I can't tell her what her face is. It's the weirdest thing, man. It's yeah.
Like,
it's
do
weird.
you try, in the dream, do you try to get a look at her? Like, do you try to make out, because sometimes when I have a dream, and like details are vague, I'll try to get more details, but I never can in a dream. Like if I try to read what's on a note or try to think about something, like my brain won't fill in the details in the dream.
Well, my thing is, I always like now for some reason it must be a self-conscious thing, but I always try to like go up to her, and it's like right when I get to be about where I can tell who she is, I wake up or something happens. It's incredibly stressful saying it out loud.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so yes, I do have a reoccurring theme. I wish I had a better one for you.
Now that I think about it, I do have a recurring dream that I finally get exposed that I didn't actually graduate college, because it just never really made sense in my mind that I had enough credits to graduate college the way that I did. I graduated with 2 degrees. This is all going to sound douchey, but I graduated with 2 degrees, and I never understood how I was able to do that. And I'm just worried that, like, the dream is always that they're going to find out one day, like, oh, you didn't actually graduate. You got to come back.
That's your reoccurring dream?
Yeah, that I would have to go back to college. But my phone is ringing.
This call coming, you ever been in a situation and somebody has that on and it's like, this call coming from your sex dungeon? Oh,
no, I haven't. Have you been in an awkward situation where somebody got like, I've had somebody like try to show me something on a phone and I definitely saw something that I shouldn't have. Not crazy, but like maybe you shouldn't be taking all these screenshots of like women on the internet. Like,
yeah,
or at least put that in a secret place in your phone where it's not like the first 30 pictures.
Nick and I have the unfortunate misfortune of working with a gentleman who is spending plenty of time in prison for collecting child porn. So
yeah,
I get, I actually, I don't get nervous, but like, I don't want to see, like if someone's like, hey, check this out. I'm always like, okay, just, okay. Like, I always get nervous that I'm going to see something and then I'm going to have to, like, report it or, like, go to the next, like, to the next level. Because I honestly feel that most people are shady weirdos.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got something a little bit weird.
Yeah.
What percentage would you say the average person is weird?
At least 50%. Everybody has at least 2 to 3 things that are, I guess we would consider weird, but to that person it's completely normal.
I think that's too high. I think that's too high because I don't think that in the grand scheme of things there's that many weird things. I think 25%. I think 25% is how much most people are weird. Just because when you really get into something, it's not that weird. There's still a lot of people who do even what you would consider to be weird things.
Maybe I'm not that weird. I appreciate you saying that. All right, let's give some shout outs here. Xavier Godwin, Jeff Borg, Zach Doomerville, Jude Grayson, Jacob Huffman, Muhammad McCabe, Casey Sanderson, Brendan Musty. Don't think I'm saying that last name correct whatsoever.
Is it M-U-S-T-Y?
It's M-U-S-K-E-G. Muskie? Muskeg?
M-U-S-K-E... Muskeg. Muskeg.
All right. Muskeg.
Okay.
I must kick the ball. Anyways, Brendan O'Doyle. I thought that was funny. Nate Kieran. Yeah, I mean, it's my life, for God's sakes.
That's true.
And Dave Accent. Appreciate all of you this week.
Okay. Cool.
So should we talk about it? Should we talk about the event that 200 million people watched live around the world?
That's down, though, right? The ratings were down.
Ratings were down, but see, Fox is spinning it. So TV ratings were down, but streaming was up by like 8,000%. So that's...
Oh, yeah. So they're just making it up, right? Like, this thing we've never counted before is up because we've never decided to count it before. I didn't watch a single second of it. Not a single second of it. Not the lead up, the game, the after the game, the commercials. Didn't watch a single second of it. Had no interest of it. Which is why I would like to take credit for the Chiefs losing.
In all actuality, I would have watched it regardless, but my daughters wanted to see Taylor Swift. And then when they only showed her once and she got booed, my oldest daughter was like, "Why are they booing Taylor Swift? Is she a bad person?" And that created a whole conversation I wasn't ready to have.
I did hear that they booed her. I also find it fascinating that she was always down on the field, and the guy that she's with, they were always seen together after the win, but then when they lost, like, oh, suddenly they're not seen together, right? Oh, she's not very supportive. If that's a real relationship, she's suddenly not very supportive of this guy losing the biggest moment of his year.
You know what? I need to rant for a quick second about him. His name's Travis Kelce. And it kind of bothers me. He's getting hated on today because he was crying walking back to the dressing room. And it bothered me for multiple reasons, but the main reason is let the guy cry. He just lost the Super Bowl. I don't care if he's won 2 already. Like, he just lost something he's been working towards for an entire year. All of us would cry. Like, let it be. It doesn't make him any less of a man.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. My rant on the other side of it is, like, I don't want to ever hear about how athletes work hard. Like, they may work hard, but it's not hard work.
I don't think, let the man cry. Who cares?
I think it's fine to cry, but I just don't like it when they're up there talking about, like, man, I'm working so hard. Like, no, you're really not. Like, that's not hard work. You may be working hard at what you do, but hard work is digging ditches. Like, it's not hard work to sit there and catch a football. Like, it's not. It's not the same thing. And get paid millions of dollars for that. So let's not...
But are you telling me that if somebody digging a ditch could catch a football like Travis Kelce, it wouldn't be reversed?
Yeah, no, I don't know what point you're trying to make with that one.
It's all hard work. Travis Kelce still has, just because he has to lift weights and run and eat and be on a strict diet is no different than somebody digging ditches. It's still hard work, just in a different way.
Well, it's still the same amount of effort that you're putting into it, but it's not hard work when one person's getting paid $20 and somebody else is getting paid $200,000 a minute. That's what the difference is. That's where, like, it becomes pretty easy once you get that amount of money for it. Like, putting in that amount of effort for that amount of reward is what makes it different in my mind.
Listen, how far are you away from Bend, Oregon?
I don't actually know. 6 hours. I live in Seattle, so I'm much closer than you are.
Yes, I think you need to go to the last standing Blockbuster at some point and do a report on it.
And just stand out there?
Yeah. I'm sure you are not the only person that would do that, but I was thinking about this over the weekend. Like, I kind of miss like a Blockbuster, like a family video.
Oh, to like go in? I don't miss that at all. I
Like,
value convenience much more.
like maybe I'm different now as a dad. Like, I would like just my kids to be able to go in and pick something out and make it a full-on movie night than just turning on the TV and, oh, what's new on streaming? But I also realize I might sound like a curmudgeon old man right now.
You do sound like a karma. Like, I don't know what is happening with your transition into a 70-year-old man. Like, you went from 32 to 75. Why can't they bring back the horse and buggy? I'm tired of all these cars. We should just be able to hop on a horse and ride over to our neighbor's house with an unlocked door and say, "Hello, neighbor."
See, why?
Because you just want to be an old man. Like,
First
why
off,
don't you just be
Just so everybody
75?
knows out there,
Do you have
that
a
might be
blanket
here-
right next to you? Do you have a blanket right next to you right now?
hearing this for the first time, I wasn't even alive during the horse and buggy era, so
But yet you want to go back. Like, just admit that you want
I
to go
don't
back
want
in
to go
time.
back.
Just
No,
admit-
I don't.
Why can't you just admit that you want to go back in time and you're a grumpy old man?
I wouldn't survive in the 1900s. Like 1900 and 1910s. Like, I wouldn't survive, I don't think.
Okay, what's the last year going back that you think that you could survive? If you went back in time, how far back in time do you think that you could survive? Because for me, it might be like 1980.
I was going to say, like, I'd have to miss all the wars. So, like, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Like, I'm not getting drafted
Oh, yeah.
because I'm dying.
Okay, put the wars and all that kind of stuff out of it, right? Like, you're just surviving in that time. How far back do you think you could go and survive?
I mean, probably the 20s, maybe. I mean, I think I could live a pretty simple life if that's what I knew.
Yeah, that's true.
Only problem is, like, if you take me now and throw me back there, life's going to really suck.
It's
bad.
going to be really hard. I don't know if I could go back to like the 1950s and live. I don't know if I could survive in the 1950s even.
I just want to see if me and my family can put down our devices for an entire day and see if we can do that. I don't think that's possible.
I've done it. You got to get out in the wilderness, man. You got to go like be outside a little bit more.
I'm working on it. I tried and I busted my ass.
Okay, so can I tell this story to make it? Because if you tell it, it's going to be 5 minutes. But if I tell it, it's going to be 20 seconds. Can I tell it?
Sure.
John went sledding and fell over and rolled down a hill, and there's a really good picture of it that hopefully he'll share somewhere on social media. My question to you about falling over is, how are you going to reestablish dominance in the house? Because you are not looking like a man amongst men, right? Like, if I'm your wife, if I'm your daughters, I'm looking at you like, he hurt his back picking up dog poop. He tore his calf muscle trying to play softball. Then he tries to go sledding, and he fell off the sled and rolled down the hill. Like, you're not looking like a man who can provide for his family right now.
Oh, but don't you worry. I gained respect right back.
Oh, how did you do it? How did you do it?
I ran directly up the hill from where I was. As kids were sledding around me, I didn't give a shit. You're going to make room for me. And then some of the people that were asking me if I was okay, I said, let's fucking do this again. And then I proceeded to do it. I proceeded to do it 11 more times.
Okay.
And I only fell off probably half of those.
I mean, like, I don't know if as an adult, if like, unless I'm doing a jump or something, like, I don't know how you fall off a sled. Like, you just sit on it and hold
This hill, and yeah, I guess I will have to, for those of you out there listening, I will have to post it. This hill is quite steep for a sledding hill, and there was a layer of ice underneath most of it.
Okay.
So, I mean, you were basically sliding on ice.
But you're still just sitting down. Like, I don't understand how this is going to be different, right? Like, you just sit on it and it goes down. Like, you literally just have to sit.
Yeah, but when you get going fast enough and you move or you hit a divot, assholes were putting ramps on there. I hit one of those, went airborne. That wasn't fun.
See, that's
I don't have to worry. Do you know why I posted that pictures? Because I don't have to worry about establishing dominance. I am fine right where I am.
They're not old enough yet, but they're questioning you. Your family is questioning you right now behind your back. It's like,
yeah,
Mom, what if somebody breaks into this house? Like, Dad can't even ride a sled.
they're
questioning you.
I
The
don't
seed
think
has been
that's
planted.
accurate.
The seed's planted.
Let's see. Is there anything else? I don't have much more. I was going to bring up the fact that you're not going to be able to build a house anymore, but that's just more Trump talk in politics.
You can't build a house? Why can't you build a house?
Well, I think as of early this week, there's going to be a 25% tax and tariff on Canadian and Mexican steel and aluminum coming into this country. So, I mean, it's out of control. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, it's a little all over the place, right? Like, wait 5 minutes and it'll change. Wait 5 minutes and it'll change.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's whatever. You ready for a top 5?
Oh, you're already done. Okay, all right. Let's do it. All right, so our top 5 is, I don't know exactly how to describe our top 5, but basically the top 5 common knowledge things that you didn't know. Like, everybody else seemed to know this thing, and you were the one who didn't know it. What's your number 5?
So these are going to sound terrible, but I learned.
Oh yeah, they're all going to be terrible. Yeah. I
learned all of these lessons at some point in my life, so I don't do them anymore. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
My number 5 is learning that a solid white line does not mean pass.
You should know that. Like, that's one of the rules of the road you should really know. I thought about putting the fact that I don't know how a 4-way stop works on there, but that's not as dangerous to people as thinking a solid white line means pass.
Well, I knew it didn't mean like pass, but I didn't think it meant you're not supposed to pass. I thought it just was a barrier in the middle of the road. I had one close call, and then the person I was with was like, "You idiot! That's why it's there. Is because there's whatever." So yeah, but yeah, solid white line means do not pass. I learned that.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lesson that's going to come the hard way. Right?
Yeah.
I guess I grew up growing up in Kansas, which has a lot of 2-lane roads. Like, you learn that pretty quick. Like, I shouldn't pass on this curve.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. My number 5 is don't put hot water on a cold windshield. I didn't make that mistake. Man. I didn't make that mistake, but I saw somebody else make that mistake. It's like,
yeah, that's
don't
crack
do that
city right there, man. That is. Why would you even? I mean, why would that person even do that? It makes no sense.
Somebody just doesn't know. I live in Seattle, and I saw a grown adult, like 40, 50-year-old, doing it, and I tried to catch him, and I didn't catch. It's like, don't.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know. You think it's a brilliant idea. Oh, well, there's hot water on this cold thing. That doesn't got to be bad. Idiot. All right, what's your number 4? This is starting off better than I thought it was going to be. Okay, yeah, Johnny.
My number 4 is something else to do with heat, and that is do not take a hot pan off the stove and put it in your kitchen sink, because it will buckle the metal.
Oh, how hot is your pan? I love doing that. And turn on the water right away and it goes, I like doing that.
Yeah, just taking it right from the water to the sink, putting it down, and sometimes you hear just a, or other times, I mean, I've had it pretty bad. So, you might want to hold it and put the water in, then put it on maybe. But yeah, it can be pretty bad.
Just for the audience, a quick update. How many pairs of tongs do you have at the moment?
I'm actually down 2 pairs. I've broken, or I haven't. My family member, including my oldest daughter, has broken a pair. So, say I was at 13, I'm down to 11 now.
Oh, are you going to stock back up? You going to get some more tongs?
Probably, but I'm going to get a whole new pan set. So.
Oh, my God. It's kind of exciting, but also incredibly lame. My number 4 is that the shower curtain goes on the inside of the tub. I always put it on the outside of the tub. I didn't know that at all. And
Oh,
then one
boy.
day my wife is like, "Why is there all this water out here?" It's like, "I don't know. I got the shower curtain on. It's on the inside."
God damn it.
You idiot. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad one right there. That's not a good thing.
It's a mistake on my part.
My number 3 is never feed, animals like at a public place.
Oh, well, what kind of? I guess, I'll feed like a squirrel.
Like, for instance, I lived in Orlando, and I lived on Lake Eola, and they
Oh,
have
yeah.
geese and swans. Like, I learned not to feed them because, for one, they don't go away, and then they'll follow you, and then they'll get angry when you don't give them any more food. And then for some reason, they remember you, and then want to just bite the shit out of you the next time they see you.
Did you get attacked by geese at Lake Eola?
The angry swan. I don't know. I don't know if you were there when there was a mother that was protecting, her babies. But back in the day when I was a runner, ran too close and she goddamn was chasing me. Kind of scary.
Don't mess with animals and their babies, man. Don't mess with them.
Well, I didn't mean to, but whatever.
My number 3 is that England, the United Kingdom, and Great Britain are not all the same thing. I thought that England, United Kingdom, and Great Britain were all the same. Like, you could explain the difference to me every day for a year, and I still won't know the difference.
I feel like I know the difference, but now that you say that, I don't know if I could tell you the difference.
Right when you start to, you think, oh, I know the difference, and then you think about it for a second and realize you don't know the difference. I know England is just England, but I'm not sure what the difference between the United Kingdom and Great Britain is. Maybe the United Kingdom is all that one island, like with Ireland and Scotland and Wales. And
well, I think
Great
that's
Britain
the
is
United
empire.
Kingdom is all three, and Great Britain is England, I think.
Let's not look this up at all and just give, this is my bet for Great Britain, is it's like where London is, plus like Scotland and Ireland and Wales. And then the United Kingdom is that and some other territories that I don't really know about. Like Papua New Guinea or French Guiana, which is France, but
should we just move on?
We should probably just move on. Yeah, you're right. Okay, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is that on your gas gauge, the arrow tells you which side of the car the gas tank is on.
Is that really your number 2?
Is that your number 2?
Yeah, that's my number 2 too. I had no idea that the arrow showed you what side the gas tank was on. I'm always like, what side's the gas tank on?
I learned that at a very probably 20, 21. I didn't even know it was there until my wife showed me.
Oh, I was probably in my 30s when I realized that.
Yeah, I had no idea. I would say, though, that out of everything, that's probably the one where I was like, wow, I feel like an idiot more so than anything.
That's like the biggest thing because it's practical. Like, oh, I wish I would have known that. That would have been helpful all this time.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your number 1?
Probably the most frustrating one to me, and that is, until you learn this, and that is that shirt tags are always on the left.
They are?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's usually, most shirts, at least cheap shirts, there's always a little tag on the left, and because that way when you put it on, the side the tag's on is, how you want to put it on.
I feel like this is another piece of evidence for the discrimination of against left-handed people like myself.
It's not all shirts, but a lot of shirts. And when I learned that, I was like, oh, it makes perfect sense. I'm not going to be putting my shirts on backwards anymore.
Oh, I didn't you had that was a big problem until you learned this?
Can we
couldn't just be like, oh yeah.
Can we agree that one of the most frustrating things is getting out of the shower and putting on a shirt and it's backwards and then you have to take it off and your skin's still kind of wet? It's a frustrating thing. It's one of the most frustrating things that you can go through.
I really don't run into that problem very much. I don't know if I've accidentally put a shirt on backwards in 15 years. I really don't. How often does this happen to you that you're constantly putting shirts on backwards?
It still probably happens once or twice a week to me.
How? What do you do?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
It's always the undershirt. It's not the polo. It's not the button down.
Well, if it was the button down, then you got like you need to go.
Well,
you got bigger problems. If like,
well,
oh crap.
so yeah, probably once or twice a week still.
I really don't understand how that's even possible, to be honest with you, man. Like, I don't know what you're doing over there.
No one does, Nick. No one gets it.
My number one is that eggs aren't just baby chickens. I really thought that those were just like, if you just left the egg, it would turn into like a baby chicken. Like, that's not how that works?
You know, that reminds me, somebody once told me, like, if you eat like a seed, it'll sprout in your stomach. So for the longest times, like, if I ever swallowed a seed, I would be worried I was going to have like something sprouting in my stomach.
I remember some relative of mine told me that about watermelons, and this was before the invention of seedless watermelons. Spending there hours. I love watermelon. It's in there hours, like picking out all the seeds. I'm gonna grow a watermelon in your stomach.
You know, your mom and dad were like, "Thank you, Uncle Larry." Nick's been busy for hours.
I have an Uncle Larry.
Of course you do, because you're from Kansas.
Do you have an Uncle Larry?
I do not have an Uncle Larry. I have an Uncle John Wayne, for God's sakes.
You have an uncle, his name is John Wayne?
Yeah.
John Wayne Shull?
No, Baker. My mother's
John Wayne
brother.
Baker.
JWB, we call him, if we ever talk to him anymore.
Does he seem like the kind of guy who should be named John Wayne Baker?
Let me just say, relations with John Wayne haven't been the best in a long time, so I don't know. Could be dead for all I know.
Well, that sounds like a guy who probably shouldn't be named John Wayne then. That's funny. Do you have anything in your honorable mention?
Nothing good. Yeah, nothing better than what I had on my list, I don't think.
I didn't realize, the only other thing that I had was I didn't realize you were supposed to leave like shampoo in for a while. I thought you just like put it like, and that was it. Like, I thought you just put it on your hands, like soaping up your arm. Like, you don't just leave the soap on your arm. I didn't realize that's what you were supposed to do with shampoo. I just like, there it is, it's done.
I was going to put this on the list, but I felt that this would be too embarrassing. But I didn't realize that hand sanitizer just isn't like a universal for everything. Like, you take a shit, it can be soap. You know what I mean? Oh, you drop something on the counter, you use it as like, Lysol or something.
You didn't realize that it's not for just like, it's just not an all-purpose cleanser?
For you kids out there that don't remember the pandemic, I remember buying like 30 bottles of hand sanitizer.
Oh, I remember that.
And I would use it everywhere. I mean, on everything. Anytime I touched something, or I mean, my hands were so chapped.